Welcome back to Girl Talk. We are at Bella Domicile today, and we have the privilege of being with Dondi, who is one of the certified kitchen designers here. And I used to be in the business years and years ago, and so I know that just like fashion, cabinetry has trends. So can you share with us some of the trends that have happened over the past 20 years?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at how we use our space anymore, it's changed dramatically. Think about storage. Most of us have a coffee maker and a toaster in our kitchen, right? But we have a panini maker, we have a pizza maker, we have a bread maker, might have one of those spinning things that put our pizza on. So all those appliances coming on has put a big demand on storage for kitchens. Another thing storage-wise is we now can go to Sam's or we can go to Costco and we can get a 55-gallon drum of ketchup, right? Yep. Or we can get 100 rolls of toilet paper. Yeah. And so having a place to store all of those things, there's a lot of storage demands in the kitchen today. Another area to take a look at is technology. I mean, think about when you were growing up. Did everybody not have the phone jack, in the kitchen, dedicated phone jack? Now with tablets and laptops, we move around so that desk area isn't so much needed in most kitchens. I still do that periodically. But just how we use that space is so different because of wireless technology. Look at us, we're all sitting around this island. Remember the formal dining room? So much of how we live now is around an informal gathering space. Correct. So that's a different trend that we've worked with. And how about this one? The desirable corner whirlpool tub in the bathroom that was ginormous, just totally very unpopular now. It's the amount of water it takes to fill one of those, the time.
Nobody has time to fill them anymore, right?
Like
and
even in the Parade of Homes this year, I was surprised at the number of master bathrooms that did not even have a tub.
Oh, really?
They did not have a tub. A two-person shower, a large shower.
Sure.
So just how we use our space has changed over the years so much.
Absolutely.
So a big part of what Bella Domicile does is help people determine the functionality of their homes. How are they using their homes to better design the interior? That's what you do.
Right.
So how do you help people uncover what the best design is for their living space?
That's a great question, and it's all about understanding who's using the space and how they're using it. So we may have a young family, and that young family may need to remodel the kitchen to make the space work for them. They may be raising their kids for the next 3 to 5 years, and then they want to remodel the space so that it improves the value of the home when they sell it, but they're not really looking long term. Or we might have a retiree couple that's planning on being in that space long term, but they're in perfect health now. But we have to think about accessibility issues going forward. So it's really getting to know each client, what their specific goals are, and then helping them move through the process so that the solution kind of fits their particular need.
That's great.
Yeah, so much to think about.
Yeah, and with those needs, there's so many different so many different options that you can do. I mean, it's tile, it's colors, what kind of cabinet design you want. How do you help as a designer choose what's best for the clients that you're working with?
That is so true. People are so overwhelmed with the amount of options available. So there's a lot of information on the internet, and to be honest, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet as well. So a good designer will take the time to understand each client, and if you can then explain the features that benefit them and narrow the choices down to maybe 2 or 3 things that make sense for them, that's really what they need. People are busy. They don't have time to research, the 85 different cabinet lines or the different countertops or what's the best. So it's about that interaction, understanding what their needs are. I'll say every countertop is a good countertop, but it's not all good for each person. So it's understanding, what the good fit is for that particular.
And maybe what their style seems to be as well.
Absolutely, that's definitely a consideration for sure. So,
well, we always want our kitchens to be very functional, efficient. Can you share with us the 3 most common functional pieces that you usually have in a kitchen?
Sure. So talking about, let's say the three things that that are requested most. I'll start with number 3. We'll do our countdown.
Like Letterman.
Yeah. So number 3 would definitely be big drawers, deep drawers, and a lot of them. So people are looking to have that storage in a drawer. You know, imagine you're pulling out a drawer, you're accessing whatever you need and closing the drawer instead of having to dive in a cabinet and things are falling off a shelf or whatnot. So big drawers and more of them is probably the number 3 request that I get. The number 2 request is, can you please solve the problem of my spices? You know, we have all these little things, they're stacked, 5 deep, I can't find. We're all going on Food Network and we're finding, what recipe, and there's 10 spices on there and they're up in the cabinet. So it's an angled spice rack in a drawer can be great, a pull out, or sometimes just a door applied. So there's a lot of options there. But that's a big frustration.
Abby actually showed me that. She's like, oh, I'm going to show you one of the spice rack things.
Okay.
And she went and opened a drawer, and I'm like, that's going to be the spice rack?
Yeah.
It was a neat idea.
Yeah. And then the number one thing that, it's not all that exciting, but it's the number one thing requested is the base waste and recycling center.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's, let's face it, the trash can is not a very attractive piece, and from personal experience, pets can get into waste baskets and, stuff can be strewn all over. So just getting that in a cabinet, put away in a convenient place, maybe near the sink where you're,
Easy to keep
empty.
clean.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So those are my top 3.
The top 3. All right.
So when you're helping someone determine the functionality or how best to create their space, what are the physical things that you're looking for to help come up with that solution?
Great question. I think it all starts, no one hits my door without a problem that I need to solve. So my first goal is to find out what is it that's bothering them about their space that I can solve. Is it my drawers don't work? Is it I want to buy a new fridge but I don't have the space to put it in there? Is it the lack of prep space? So the first thing is understanding the goal. What is the problem that needs to be fixed? The second thing is, how about we need to understand what the budget will be? Some people are coming to us to understand what it should be. Some people have a great idea of what they plan to invest. That's always a plus. So typically what we'll do is do a 3-column budget to say the project could be done in this price tier, this price tier, and this price tier. The selection of materials may be different, the scope of the project may be different, but all of those could solve the problem to some extent for them.
We are running way out of time.
Okay.
There's so much to talk about here.
I know, I can't wait.
I was like, I have a question.
We are out of time, and we're going to have you back to cover all those bases. Thank you for watching Girl Talk, and see us next time.